So raise your hand if you have any questions for Coach. Let's go ahead and start on the first row.
I'll open up, though, with we got the most powerful man in college athletics introducing coaches. We're blessed. We're blessed.
Alan Cole, GamecockScoop.com. I guess kind of a two-parter from last night. One, is there any day-after effects from Malaysia, from rolling her ankle a little bit? And two, what were kind of your overall takeaways from seeing your team in a game setting for the first time?
Haven't got the skinny on Malaysia. I know she was going to see some of our doctors there, but she was walking. She was walking after the game. But it was cool to play in an environment like Memphis and why we're able to do the game. The St. Jude's Research Hospital did a fantastic job showing us around, giving us the heartbeat of Memphis, and then for us to play a game. I think our players were a little bit overstimulated to start the game, but they calmed down a little bit to, get back to the habits that this team has formed. I thought we had great plays from a lot of different people, and we were just pretty vanilla offensively, only because we wanted to be that way, and we got a team that we got to play in Michigan that we didn't want to give a whole lot of information to. So thought our players did a great job just trying to get better. Everybody that got inserted into the game really made an impact in their way, and also really gave us an opportunity to show them some improvements that they need individually. So overall, great showing.
Next question, front row in the middle.
Cora Hall with Knoxville News Sentinel. Joyce Edwards certainly had quite the debut last night, double-double by halftime. Just how impactful do you think she can be as a freshman, and what have you enjoyed the most about coaching her since she got to Columbia this summer?
Joyce played extremely well. She played like she's been practicing, so I didn't know how she'd be just because it's her first college game. She was a little nervous at the beginning of the game, right before we started the game. And I think sometimes with a player like that, they might need to see the game a little bit and anticipate what's going to happen out there on the floor. But the moment we inserted her into the game, she imposed her will on both sides of the basketball. Super high intelligent, high competitor, and just plays the right way. Very, very mature for her age.
Next question, front row on the left, and then we'll go to the fourth row on the left.
John Zana with Associated Press. We talked a lot last couple months around here how much better the football has gotten with Texas and Oklahoma. But, y'all added 2 top 10 teams and elite programs so how much better has women's college basketball gotten with Texas and Oklahoma?
It's pretty much upgraded, what I think is the best conference in the country. They've upgraded us to another level. We're fortunate in that we get to play Texas twice, and we get to play Oklahoma as well. So women's basketball is at an all-time high. I am super excited about not just our team, but overall. I'm excited to see, how the teams that have been spread out over certain conferences, the Big Ten and the ACC have new former Pac-12 members. I'd like to see how that all unfolds. So I'm super excited. I know that there will be a women's basketball game on every single day of the week, and I look forward to tuning in.
Next question on the fourth row on the left.
Wilson Jackson, the Knicks. Coach Staley, what would you say is the next step in elevation for Raven Johnson?
The next
Next step in elevation.
I think Raven needs to be a little more selfish and take some more shots. I thought she did a great job yesterday of mixing it up, of distributing the basketball and being greedy a little bit, keeping her, her opponent off guard. Because if you look at Raven is very, very, very unselfish. So she would much rather pass the basketball. And sometimes when you get in, as a point guard, you get in the mode of that. You miss out on some scoring opportunities just to keep the defense honest. So that is the next step for her, and she's working that in practice And it was good to see her do some of that in stretches of the game last night.
All right, other questions? Let's go to the third row on the right.
Hey, Dawn. Ethan Westerman, Whole Hog Sports. Just Mariam Daa, what has she added to your team both on and off the court?
Mariam, I mean, she's such a sweet, like she is the best young lady that we've added. Culture, we've added that. I think sometimes, you know, when you see a player like Mariam as your opponent, like I don't know, she might have 2 or 3 threes on us, and I just knew that she was really good three-point shooter, right? And that's the identifiable thing that we liked about her and coming to our team. But if I told you, that's probably the least efficient thing that she does for us. Like with everything outside of that, she gives us. She's a really good defender. She's a great listener. She can score. She's got multiple moves. She can dribble the basketball. She's got a certain toughness about her, and she's coachable. Like anything that we ask her to do, she does. So I do think she's going to help our basketball team. You know, she's going to help our back. She's going to stretch the floor for us, but we got so much more than a three-point threat.
Next question, front row on the left.
Hey, Coach. AP Stedham, AP and Kelly, as we see it. How does a championship coach at South Carolina get better during the summertime? And used to be years ago, players would go back to their city, play in city leagues and things like that. How does a player get better as well?
I mean, our players are pretty serious about creating pro habits. Like they want to be pros. Pros get better in the off season. Every player that has aspirations of getting better, they get better in the off season. Some of them have trainers. Some of them stay over the summer. Some of them are, forced to stay over the summer. I think we do a really good job at making sure that whatever we're doing as a team, we leave a lot of time for our players to work on individual skill sets, skills. So they feel like they're getting better. And then once it's time for us to get going and get better as a team, we still, like there are 10 to probably 20 minutes each day of our practice we work on skill set. And we owe that to them. We owe that to them because when they tell us they want to be WNBA players, we commit to that. Not just our system and what we need to do to win, but for them individually. What do I do to get better? I'm surrounded by like great coaches. Like how I get better is just us meaning our staff, our coaching staff, coming together in the summer and figuring out how we get better, just individually. What was working for us last year, what was not working, and sometimes we think of reversing it, meaning let's work on the things that we weren't good at the end of the season, and then the stuff that we were good at, let that come after that. So it's just throwing out ideas, allowing coaches to have different perspectives. Like that's what we want. I just want to win. I just want our players to get better. I want us to get better as a team and a program. And that doesn't always derive from what I think. It derives from everybody that's a part of our program.
Next question, front row on the left.
Hi, you talked about women's basketball at an all-time high. People could talk about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camilla, all these great players gone and what this could do to ratings. When you look out, Paige Booker's, Juju Watkins, any number of players in the SEC, how much talent do you see, whether it's young or people who are going to step into bigger roles, just around the women's college basketball?
We're primed. There are household names. Like everybody knows Juju. Everybody knows Hannah Hidalgo. Everybody knows Malaysia Fawali. Everybody will know Joyce Edwards. Like the future is incredibly bright, and I'm missing a whole lot of them. That's just off the top of my head. All tremendously great players that people want to watch. And I do think the decision makers of our game they're going to put us on. They're going to put women's basketball. They're going to put us center stage because the numbers are real, you know. And I know we lost some great ones, and Angel and Caitlin, but we gained so much more. Like, we gained so much more talent, skill set, and marketability. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm glad it's happened during the time in which, you know, I can attest to it. You know, I can share with other people who are just now tuning in.
Raise your hand if you have other questions. Let's go to the second row in the middle, and then we'll go right behind to the third row in the middle.
Hi, Don. Kevin Skarbinski with the SEC blog. Obviously, you have core principles in your program, but every team has a different personality. Has this team's personality started to emerge, or do you have to see them once the season begins to really gauge that?
I am probably a more traditional coach, like old school, and probably up until last year, that's the type of team that we had. Last year, if I wasn't a pivoting coach, they would have driven me out of this profession. But I like for our teams to take on their own identity. This team, they're silly. They like to have a lot of fun. They talk a whole lot, like senseless stuff. So it used to get on my nerves early. But now that's who they are. Like, I can't change who they are. As long as they're working hard, they're super competitive, they're respectful. Like, just the flight coming here today to talk to them about the growth that's taking place outside of us. Like, the way they talk to each other, the way they're like, if something doesn't look, sound, or feel right, they address it. Like, they really address it. And stuff that I had no idea was going on in their apartments. And that is really, really gratifying to know that that's the type of culture we have. Like, I know we have it. And I know we have it when it's out front in front of coaches and our staff. But when it's behind closed doors, that same culture applies to each and every one of them, holding each other accountable to the standards that we live by. So it's super cool, like, you know, but they've changed me. There are things that, you know, as a traditional old school coach would address. I don't fight those battles anymore. Like, if everybody has on the same sweatsuit and one other player has on a different sweatsuit, right? Looks odd to me, right? I usually say, what's wrong with her? Like, I don't, because I know they've addressed it. And if I bring it up to them later on, I brought it up to them later on, they said the one that they were wearing, hers was dirty. So, I mean, I know they handle things like that. So it's cool. It's with great responsibility that they have to be that way, and we allow them to be that way. So it's cool when it's working. Like, it's working for us. I don't know when it will change for us. I'm sure when it does, we'll step in. But right now, we don't have to step in because they're doing the work behind closed doors.
Okay, third row in the middle.
Hey, Coach. Brad Harvey from College Sportscast. The one thing that you guys lost from last year's team is Camilla. She moved on to the WNBA. How do you replace her size? You can't teach size.
You can't. I mean, Camilla's 6'7". I do think we have a collection of post play that's pretty talented, and then we got some youngsters that are coming up, like you know, Adele Tack. You know, we got a little bit of her yesterday, and she just got cleared probably to go full maybe 2 weeks ago, and she really hasn't gone full practice, but she's got the makings of what we've had for the past 10 seasons, which was a dominant big. So she has the makings of that. So we're going to pour into her, not put too much pressure on her. But some of the stuff she did out there, I mean, she reminded me of an Aaliyah Boston. The communication out there on the floor, you can hear her. The amount of just support that she has from her teammates, quite incredible. Like they're pouring into her, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And you know, is she their competition as far as bigs? Yes. Like we got a lot of bigs. We'll have 7 bigs. How do we play all of them? That's hard, but they only want the best for each other, and they're learning, they're growing, and it's a healthy competition. So, you know, they are putting it, you know, the pressure on the coaches to make a decision as to who to play, when, and how much, and that's the way you want it. And it won't be because someone's just playing bad. It's just because the numbers are driving the playing time.
Next question down in the front in the middle.
I wanted to ask you, as a coach that sends a lot of players to the WNBA, you know, we saw a huge spike in popularity that's been, you know, building for years, obviously. But with that spike, you know, we all saw what came with it, with more racism and online abuse directed at players, and that's something that you've spoken out about at the college level. Just curious your thoughts on, you know, where the moment the league is at with, you know, the growth and everything that came with it, and kind of where it and women's basketball as a whole goes from here.
I missed an important piece of your question. Can you say it again?
Yeah, I was just curious, as we all saw the spike in popularity of the league, and you know, with that, what came with it, and you know, more racism and online abuse directed at players. Just what are your thoughts on where the league is, you know, with the popularity and what came with it, and kind of where it goes from there?
You didn't say racism the first time, right?
Oh no, I did.
You did? Oh, so I missed that part.
Sorry,
so that's an important piece. So okay, I mean, we're a sport. Like, we're a sport now. Like, we're getting everything that comes with being a sport. Sometimes when being a sport, sometimes people's deliveries are way off, how they express themselves. So for me, I like all communication, good, bad, or indifferent. What we do need to work on is how we're delivering the communication and what we're saying, and the impact that it will have on young people, because when it's all said and done, they're all young people. So the more you bring in, you know, the more you bring in racism, the more you're bringing in division. So our women's basketball community has been built on unity, doing things the right way, respecting our game always, and when we disrespect it unintentionally, we're quick to address it, apologize, and move on. We do feel like there's a certain group of new fans that are disrespecting our game, disrespecting the players that are in it, and creating division. And they'll get theirs. Like, are they entitled to their opinion? They absolutely are. So for me, I choose to ignore them. And I choose to use our platforms to uplift all the things that are positive in our sport. But we do need our leaders to step out there and use their voice when harm is being done to our product.
Okay, we're going to wrap it right there. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.